What's up, guys? Welcome to the Swole Mates podcast
What is up, guys?
with Joe.
And Alyssa.
And this is episode 3.
Yes, episode 3.
Thank you guys so much for your support on the first episode.
It means the world to us.
Seriously, this is our entire world. We live, sleep, breathe podcast.
True.
I mean, not really, but I'm tired today. I'm exhausted.
I'm so sleepy. As you can tell, because I didn't do my hair. I look
looks
like a crackhead.
Yeah, you do look like a crackhead.
You just picked me off of Central.
They don't have Central down here in Texas. That's New Mexico.
So what's the Central here?
I picked you up in Midtown. Oh.
What's that?
It's not a good place to go.
Really?
Yeah, you don't want to go to Midtown. That's where all the hookers are. But I wouldn't know that.
How would you know that?
I wouldn't know that.
I have some explaining to do.
That'd be gross. Could you? I can't. Okay, here's the thing. I think the people that sleep with like hookers and like do actually. So when I was,
but there's like low class hookers and then there's like high class hookers, like escorts.
Yeah. So when I worked at Melting Pot in New Mexico, I remember serving a table for this couple, and the dude was like, not ugly, but way out of this girl's league. Like, no way. This guy had like a $10,000 Rolex on, and she was like,
he got money.
Yeah, she was like this. She was like this bigger chick, and I remember like they weren't like really talking much, and I mean I got a really good tip from him. But then the next week I saw her in there with a different guy, and I was like, oh, I was like, oh, like what the heck?
She was a sugar baby.
No, she was an escort. Because I asked around, and I was like, what is up with this girl coming in? And someone was like, oh, I saw her with like 2 other guys too. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, she's an escort. They always used to go to Melting Pot. I'm like,
why? Out of all the places in New Mexico.
Okay, think about New Mexico. What other nice places are there?
Vernon's. Vintage.
Yeah. Okay, that's 2. Yep, that's about it.
Ruth Chris Steakhouse.
Yeah. Ruth Chris is a chain. I like Vernon Steakhouse.
Honestly, their mac and cheese is so good.
Yeah, I love a good steak.
I need to ask Nate to bring me home some.
You should.
I don't know why I don't. I forget he works there.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, guys. So we are going to talk about working and living together.
Yeah, this is a topic that I wanted to address because I'm sick of living with her. So if anyone wants to
working with this guy.
If anyone wants to pick up a crackhead from my place, I'll send you the address. No, just kidding. Okay, so obviously, so we started living together like with February, like probably like 4 months after we met, and like 2 months into dating, is because you were staying at my place all the time, and eventually, and you had like she had a small pile of clothes, so like I had like one shelf in my closet, and it wasn't even in my closet. It was like one shelf in one of the cabinets that I had, and she had like a small pile of clothes, like a couple work clothes, like a couple pairs of leggings and stuff like that. And I remember being like, babe, do you want like another shelf? And you were like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, no, like literally your clothes are falling out. If he gives me another
shelf, that means it's final.
Did you not want to move in? Or did you?
I don't know. I feel like I did want to move in, but then I didn't want to like say it because like, what if you're like, oh my God, this girl's crazy. So I was like, oh.
I mean, I already knew that you were crazy. But, yeah, no. So she had like one shelf, and she constantly, you would go home like what, every like 4 weeks and like go pick up clothes?
No, I would go home like every Friday or Saturday.
You didn't ever do laundry at my place, and you didn't go home to do laundry.
Yes, I did.
Did you do laundry at my place?
Yes. No, not at your place. At my place, I did laundry.
So you would go home to do laundry and then just come back?
Yeah.
That's inconvenient. Yeah, so we started living together there. She was basically just staying at my place every single night, and I just asked her to, I was just like, why don't you just like live here? Why don't you just like stay here? But like you didn't pay for groceries or rent or anything like that. You pretty much just like, you were living rent free.
I didn't pay for rent because my name wasn't on the lease, but I was paying for my groceries.
But you were paying for rent in other ways.
Shut up.
God, Alyssa, everything doesn't have to be a sexual joke.
Oh my God.
That's what she said.
She said what?
She said, "Oh my God." That's what she said. Well, that's what you said, not anyone else.
Click for me for some reason.
Oh, you sleepy.
Anyways.
So we live together at the old place. Obviously, we live together coming down here because I asked you to move, and she actually pays rent here now. But
I'm a material girl. But when we first lived together back home, I would pay for my groceries and also all of Titan's stuff.
Oh yeah, so she pretty much paid for or pretty much all of Titan's stuff except for like the vet visits. I usually paid for those. But she likes to claim that he's
not really my dog. He's Joe's dog, but he's my dog.
No, okay, hang on. I paid for him.
If we split, I'm taking the dog too.
Oh, you wish I bought? That's
what
my
movie
dog.
That from?
What? What movie?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably a movie with Rick Ross in it.
And I'm taking the dog too.
Okay.
Legally Blonde.
Anyway, so living together, would you say that there has been?
I fucking hate it. I'm just kidding.
Would you say that there's been like issues though? I mean, honestly,
I feel like living together and working together and being together all the time sometimes has its issues.
But do you feel like we have those issues? We're not talking about like general people. Okay, I do want to point out though that like yesterday, I shout out me. I'm an amazing boyfriend. I went to IKEA. I picked up a dresser.
Yeah, I would not want to go to IKEA. That place.
Yeah, I picked up the dresser. I built the dresser. I then organized the dresser, which funny story. So I went, I'm going to expose you here. So I went to IKEA and I built the dresser and Alyssa she was at work and she went on break or her lunch break.
No, I hadn't gone on break yet, but I was texting him.
Yeah, she didn't pack lunch.
I texted him 10 times because I was hungry and I didn't pack lunch.
Okay, so I built the dresser. I put it into the bedroom. And then I got little organizer bins. I'm OCD. I love organizing. So I got organizer bins. So I'm organizing all of her swimsuits and her underwear in these drawers and all of my stuff. And my phone was out in the living room and she called me and called me and called me and she was texting me and she was pissed. Wait, hang on. She was pissed. My phone was in the living room. I didn't even hear it. I was playing music. And all of a sudden I hear the door open and I was like, who is home? And she burst into the room thinking she was going to catch me in the act with another girl.
Not true.
No, you thought you were going to catch me lacking.
No, I was like, what is so important that this boy's not answering his phone call or texting me back?
And so she burst into the room and just like kind of like half smiles because she's like, I like look at her like this. I'm like, and she just like opens the door and I'm just sitting there like holding her underwear, like organizing it. And I was like, she's like, what are you doing? Like, why didn't you answer your phone?
I said, why aren't you answering your phone? And you're like, it's in the living room. And I was like, oh. I was like, well, I'm hungry. And you were supposed to text me back about bringing me food.
Do you see what I have to deal with on the daily basis? I'm literally cleaning the house for her. But to be fair, nothing.
Nervous. No, it was like a mix of everything because like I trust you and I know you wouldn't do anything, but at the same time you have health issues too. So I'm like, oh my God, like what if something bad happened?
But at the same time, so yes, very true, love. But at the same time, your crazy Latina side comes in.
Crazy.
Yeah, sure, crazy Latina side comes in, and I know you burst it because I asked you. I go, did you burst in here thinking you're gonna catch me like lacking? She was like, maybe.
I said maybe. I had my purse in my hand.
Yeah, she was getting ready to kill me, and honestly, this isn't the first time this has happened. So when she worked, it happened all the time. Okay, so hang on. So when she worked at Hooters,
my thing is just call me back or text me back. That's like my thing.
I was asleep.
That's what irritates me so much.
Okay, so here's what happened. She normally gets off when she worked at Hooters. She normally got off around like 11 or so.
Midnight sometimes.
Yeah, midnight, 11, whatever. And so I'm like laying on the couch and I'm watching TikToks. I'm just waiting for her to get off and I'm just like watching TV, watching TikToks. I fell asleep watching TikToks. Well, my phone is almost always on silent or do not disturb.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
It's all the time.
Yeah. So most of the time it's on silent. So silent or do not disturb. And I fell asleep watching TikToks and Titan's like laying on the couch next to me, like cuddling with me. Well, she called me like 6 or 7 times, and Hooters isn't that far away.
Yeah,
So
no.
normally she always called me on her way home from work, and she called me, and I wasn't answering. And why are you rubbing my hand?
I don't know. You have a little hair. I can see it.
She called me, and I wasn't answering, and I was
I was
asleep.
already okay. To be fair, all these times I call you, I'm hungry and I wanted to get Whataburger.
You were in prep.
But
Did you just expose yourself?
I did.
Okay, hang on. Another story on that. But anyway, so I was asleep, and I just wake up to Titan barking bloody murder. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I look over at my phone, and I just see a million messages and missed calls. And I go, oh, shit. And I walk over to the door. Well, she's been at the door trying to open it, and the lock like wasn't going. And so then I open the lock as soon as she gets it, and I open the door as soon as she opens the door. So she bursts in. She like sees me. She's like, what were you doing? And then she like throws her stuff down, and she's like looking around. She's like, was there someone here?
I did
like,
not say that.
No, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You said, was someone here? You thought there was like, I had like people over or something like that, and I was just ignoring you.
No, I said, was someone here? Why was the top lock locked?
Oh, yeah. She thought the top lock was locked.
Because he was trying to open the door while I was trying to open the door. So he was like pulling it while I was, yeah.
Oh, it was a whole thing. She was freaking out, and I go, whoa.
Anyways, I feel like every Latino person's like this, so.
The Latinas.
Because I'm the first Latina girl he's ever dated.
Yeah, Latinas be crazy.
Yeah.
You are the first Latina girl I've ever. I mean, I've only ever dated really like you and then my ex, but like dated. Actually, only Latina girl I think I've ever been with.
Are you new here?
Yeah, crazy, but like, I'd say worth it.
What did I think that is?
You're just tired. So anyway, so she did that. Also, another funny story. Let's just talk about all the times that.
Wait, funny stories. I thought we were talking about living together.
I mean, this is a really funny story.
Together.
So okay, why don't you tell it? How about the
read your mind?
The Nair
Hold
story.
on, let me just.
The Nair story.
Oh, okay, I know it's.
Oh, come on. You love this story.
Okay, so when we were first talking, we weren't even like dating.
I'm exposing myself here.
He was like, "Oh, do you want to shower?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." After we did,
it was like, yeah. After we did our cardio, we took a shower because we're practicing safe cardio habits.
So anyway, so I get in the shower, and this is like my first time in a shower, and I look and I see Summer's Eve, and I was just like,
oh yeah, it's not Nair. Summer's Eve.
What? First of all my ladies know what Summer's Eve is. If you're not a lady, it's
Guys,
basically
it's vaginal. It's like
a
vaginal body
for
wash.
Females, yes.
It's like vaginal body wash. Yeah.
Can I explain?
Sorry. You always cut me
Cut
off.
me off one more time.
You always cut me off. How you like it?
I don't like it. I really do.
This is why we can't live together.
But we do live together.
Fuck. Okay. Anyway.
Just kidding. I live
continue.
outside in the doghouse. Just kidding. So, anyways, I'm like in my head thinking like, what? And like, I don't think he was used to like being with someone who's like very straightforward.
I was just doing my thing.
Like, I thought.
Yeah. All these other girls play games.
Yeah. So like, I look at it and I was just like in the shower washing my hair, and I was like, I was like, do you have girls here often? And he was like, what? No, why? And
I was genuinely confused. I was like, where did this come from? Like,
and I was like, why do you have Summer Eves in your shower then? And he was like, it's for my hair. And I was like, don't lie to me.
Yeah, she tried lying to me, and I go, no, I'm serious. And I poured it into my hand, and I start putting it in my hair, and she goes,
I was like,
what the fuck are you doing?
I was
and
like,
I was
no, don't do that.
Yeah, she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, it curls my hair. And she was like, do you know what this is? And I was like, I mean, it's for females, but it like makes your hair curly. I was like, look, it works. And I'm like rubbing it through. She's like, no, wash that out. And and she was like, what? Like, and I was like, I saw it on TikTok. Which, true story, I did see it on TikTok, and at the time I wanted my hair to be curly.
Yes, and I still didn't believe him, so he got scared.
I pulled up the TikTok.
Yeah, he like went through like all his likes to like find it, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, please don't wash your hair with that ever again.
And then you felt dumb for questioning me, huh?
No, I didn't, because like it cleared my mind. I was like, oh okay, he doesn't have other girls here
that you knew of. Just kidding. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that.
Try that again. No, one time he was cooking me quesadillas after work, and his phone went off. But it was a Tinder notification. This was before we were dating, when we were talking. And I just, like, looked at it and heard it, and I was like,
Oh, yeah, because Tinder makes its own little, like, what sound is it? Is it like a little fire? It's like a fire sound. It's like, whoosh.
I honestly don't know.
I don't know. It was
like,
it was,
if I were to hear it, maybe I would, like, it would click.
Notification.
But, like, I don't. Like, on top of my head, I can't even think of what it is.
It was the Tinder notification.
Yeah.
And I honestly,
I
forgot that I had it downloaded.
I didn't say anything, but I should have said something, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. Really weird.
Yeah. But I feel like living and working together, I feel like it's not too bad.
I mean, we don't really like work together.
Sometimes we definitely bump heads, but then we just give each other space and then we're fine.
Well, I mean, so we don't, I mean, we work together, but we don't like really like work together. Cause I mean, like I'm training at Outland and she works retail. So we work completely separate. Mm-hmm. And then when we do all of our online coaching stuff, we pretty much just like
do it separate.
Yeah. We pretty much do it separate. I mean, like we collab with like, you know, all of our clients together, but she does her own thing and then I do my own thing. And that's what makes it easiest. When we tried working together, oh my God.
It was not.
She pissed me off.
Well, okay. He didn't know how to be like a manager at the time because it was always just him and like his business. And then he brought me on.
Basically, I didn't want her touching anything. But I needed her to touch things.
He wanted me touching things, but then he also didn't because he wanted it done like his way. And he didn't know how to like explain to me how to do it his way. So yeah.
Still struggle with that.
That's when we were about 10. So then I was like, you know what? How about you just do your thing and then I'll do my thing.
How about living together? I mean, we've had fights.
Yeah.
We had honestly we had the most fights when Alyssa was in prep because she was fucking hungry and grumpy all the time. I was
so mean. It was scary.
I was fearful for my life.
I was not.
If I wear blue next podcast, just know that I need help.
No, shut up. Yeah.
Just got a knife under the table.
I wasn't nice. But when you were in prep, you weren't nice either.
Okay, I only have one emotional breakdown. No. I only have one. It was like right before we left.
No, okay, I'm not talking about emotional breakdowns, but I'm talking about you. Like, you were rude when you were in prep.
I mean, we were both rude. We were both in prep.
Yeah.
We were happy when we had our cheat meals, though.
You're not wrong.
That didn't happen. Nick, we didn't have cheat meals on prep. Actually, Nick knew we had cheat meals because he pulled you out of prep and he said, I look like shit, but he said, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Ugh.
And at the time, I was like, oh, I got away with it. And then I went up on stage and I was like, I'm a fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bit the bullet.
I feel like you have to like go through that in order to like learn. Because if you don't do it, then it's just like.
Well, I mean, you don't have to go through it to learn. You could just be fucking disciplined from the start.
But I feel like I don't know. People that are that disciplined are just it's so crazy.
So like, I struggle with, like, we both struggle with that, right? Eating disorders. And it came out the most during prep. So like, I had an eating disorder before, well, I guess I've kind of had one like my whole life in terms of like, I love like sugars and sweets and stuff like that, but I have zero self-control when it comes to eating food because I've always been like leaner. I've always struggled putting on weight. Like I don't really now, but I did when I was younger. So I would literally eat anything in sight. And it's just, I mean, when you do that all the time, but like I've always been so active. I've always been so active that I could get away with eating whatever I wanted. Literally, like I would have Panda Express. I would like, so when I was bulking, with the bulking before I like got into competition prep for the first summer shredding, my dinners would look like, okay, a huge thing of orange chicken, double orange chicken from Panda Express, chow mein, lo mein, the noodles, whatever the noodles are called, and then 2 pints of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. It was literally 2 pints of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. I'd put down like 4,000 calories in a meal, and I'd still be hungry. And then I'd like keep eating, and I'd eat like 10 taquitos with like ranch. It goes on everything. Yeah, I have an eating disorder for sure. But, or like I did at the time. And it was definitely a really good change to like go like onto a strict meal plan for me during that first prep. Like I would not have been able to do like the if it fits your macros for that prep because so I did meal plan the first prep, and I think that I looked significantly better. And I really liked the structure of it, but I did if it fits your macros this last prep, and it was it was not a good call for me because I struggled too much. Like my decisions for food were all over the place because it was like, oh, I can squeeze this in if I cut out this, this, and this, and this. Like the quality foods I was cutting out for like artificial sugars and sweeteners, and it showed up in my physique.
I also feel like that's just like a you thing, not like a you thing, but it's like a mental thing, or of like, oh, like I can get away with eating this because it fits my macros.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like you have to have like control, and you have to say like, okay, I can substitute this food, but like small things.
Is it like nurturing my body, or
right.
is it giving me, is it helping me with the goals I'm trying to achieve?
So like what I always tell my clients is like, okay, yeah, you can make a burger fit your macros, but is a burger going to be the best option to fuel you physically and mentally? Probably not. But there are some times that like you need that physical and mental break. So like there would be times that like during that, so when I was on the meal prep for that first prep, I got 2 total refeeds, and I had the 5 guys, and that's what helped me mentally. Like coach did not want to give me a refeed, and I was like begging him. I was like, please, like I'm dying here. Please give me a refeed. And I would go ham. Remember, I'd get 4 burgers and a huge thing of fries, and I would devour it, and I'd literally put on like 6 pounds. I'd be so bloated, but the pumps the next day were amazing. Like, and that's the thing. Sometimes you need those mentally, right? Mm-hmm. And for someone that's not in competition prep, that's just wanting to diet and lose weight, I think that it's definitely acceptable to say, okay, hey, I'm going to save myself some carbs and fat at the end of the day and eat like a low calorie ice cream bar or something like that. Like that 100% is a good idea to do. So that way you don't, because when you are too strict on yourself mentally or like restrict yourself too much, you do binge a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, talk about what happened with your prep.
Oh gosh, my prep. I feel like my prep was good. Like towards the beginning, it was good.
Yeah, it
was really good. Like I was on top of my
Well, you stuck
shit.
to the same exact foods.
Yeah.
You literally ate basically a meal plan.
Yeah, I basically ate a meal plan. It was like my own meal plan that I made.
Yeah.
But I feel like once I started serving, that's when it got hard because like I was around food that like wasn't part of like.
And that's the thing too. Like if you're in prep or you're dieting, you can't like, okay, sure, you can go to the parties and you can drink this and that, but like just take those temptations out of the way.
Yeah.
Like so, and I've been seeing a lot of people dieting right now or on prep right now, going out and clubbing and going out and partying and stuff like that. And I'm like, you are like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'm only gonna have 1 or 2 shots, but like that used to be me, and it was like it's just not a good habit to have, and I personally feel like it does more damage than good. Like, yeah, hanging out with all your friends and getting shit-faced and stuff is fun or whatever, but, like, when you have, like, a goal in mind or, like, when you're trying to, like, step on stage, like, it doesn't seem like a big deal then, but then when you step on stage and you take second place over first, knowing that you look better than the first place guy, or you could have looked better if you hadn't fucked up and gone out and done that, it's like, because it's not like, yeah, okay, so the alcohol that night, that's not going to affect you, right? It really won't.
Yeah, like maybe one night it won't, but then what if you go out another time and the temptation becomes more of like your friends are drinking and then you feel left out and you're like, okay, like one won't kill me, and then you go next week and it turns from 1 to 2.
Well, yeah, so the kicker is not the alcohol itself. The kicker is the lack of discipline.
Yeah.
And that builds up. The lack of discipline over and over and over and over, you eventually just lose control.
It's basically like a temptation. It's like a donut dangling in front of a dog's face, right? Like maybe it won't get it, but the closer the donut gets, the closer like it's gonna end up.
Yeah, exactly. I actually my first coach Caleb, he said that during prep he used to put brownies and cookies into his mouth and chew them and then spit them out, and I'm like, that's not
so toxic.
Healthy. That's not a good thing. But
yeah,
I mean. He was disciplined, so yeah. I don't think it really affected him.
That takes a lot.
But like discipline is so hard to A, build, and B, keep.
Yeah.
Like if that shit goes, like you're fucked. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You really are. So, I don't know. That's a big thing. Cause like, and that's what started affecting you the most towards your
I feel
prep.
like I was fine. Like I was so solid like for my prep, but as soon as I started like serving for like just more money, and just, like, being around that, like, the very first week I remember I was serving, I was like, oh, like, I'm fine. Like, I'm top of my shit. I literally brought my meals with me to work and would eat them. And, like, a lot of girls were, like, not necessarily like, oh, my God, like, why are you doing that? But they were, like, they were happy for me. They're like, oh my God, like, you're so disciplined and like, I'm so proud of you. But then as soon as like more stress came into my life on top of like serving and like seeing the food and being around it is when I was just like, okay, like this one meal won't do anything. So then I would eat it and I would like see that it didn't do anything like to my physique. So I'm like, okay, I think I can get away with like pushing my limits, doing more. And it basically, I would stick to the same thing so that my body did get used to it and digested it fine, that it basically became part of my meal plan. I remember I would show up to the gym twice. I would do my fasted cardio in the morning, and then I'd show up again later to go lift. And I remember one night, I think it was like a rest day or something, but I still had to do cardio. And it was just a stressful day. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm going to go to Waterburg. I'm like, no, don't go. Like, you don't need that list. I'll just like stop like you already had. And I was like, no, like just pushing. It's like basically like another person in your head, just like nagging at you, telling you to do it.
That little voice. In your head.
And so I was like, okay, like whatever, I'm going to do it. So I remember just like waiting in line and like just sitting in my car and my veins were literally just like gushing out of my skin. Like I literally had a pump just from waiting, thinking about the damn burger.
You were just like salivating.
Yeah, I was like a dog, literally. It's so crazy. And I remember I ordered my food and I was like, okay, like I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to wait it out. Like, yeah, I paid for this, but maybe I won't even end up like eating it. And I remember just like sitting there and just like smelling it. I'm like, no, fuck it, I'm going to eat it. So I literally ate it. And as soon as I ate it, I went and did my cardio.
Yeah, I remember her coming in and like just being so pissed and coming in and looking at me and being like, she was like, I just ate 2 burgers in the parking lot. And I was like, why? And she was like, I needed them. And I was like, no, you didn't. And that's kind of what it came down. Like, I remember I came home from work one day and I was like, and I'm like smelling around the apartment. And I'm like, do you make cookies? She was like, no. And I was like, I'm literally like looking in the trash. I'm like, no, it smells like cookies. She threw 2 Pop-Tarts in the air fryer. They were like the red velvet cupcake Pop-Tarts. She threw them in the air fryer and just devoured them. And the only reason I knew is because I went up to give her a kiss and I saw a crumb.
And because I still had one in my lap.
She was hiding it, yeah.
I was like, oh, like he'll end up going in the restroom or something. I'll just eat it.
There was a crumb on her thing. No, and it was bad because when I was prepping in like May or June, when she would be in the shower, I would take out Titan and so like Anabar had first come out during prep. And I was like, I have to try these, right? Everyone's raving about them, hyping them up. And at first I tried it and I hate peanut butter. So at first when I tried it, I was like, like this is too strong in peanut butter. Like I don't like it. But it's all I had at the house that was like remotely anything sweet. And I remember her being in the shower one time and I was like, okay. And I had like, I had some fat left. I had some carbs left, a little bit of protein. And I was like, okay. And so I made one Anabar fit perfectly. Like I saved so much food at the end of the day just to eat an Anabar. Like I was thinking about it all day and I ate one and I devoured it. Like I was trying to take small bites, but like it was so good. I felt like a wild dog and I devoured it and I took Titan out and she was still in the shower and I came upstairs and I ate another one and then I ate a third and then I ate a fourth. I literally ate 4 Anabars within like 20 minutes and I was so pissed at myself. I was like, should I just go like throw this up? Like, I was so mad and I was like, you know what, whatever, fuck it. And that attitude carried the rest of prep. Like it'd be like a Friday night and we'd look at each other after, cause like we would leave the gym and our favorite restaurant was next to the gym. It was horrible. It's called Last Call. So if you're in New Mexico and you haven't been to Last Call, you're fucking missing out. When I was in college, they had a Last Call by UNM. And I would go every Friday and Saturday night after I'd get off work. I'd pick up a fat fucking carne asada burrito, which those burritos are loaded with carne asada, fries, chipotle aioli, like
it's
sour
like a heart
cream.
attack.
Yeah, it's literally a heart attack in a burrito.
It's like this big.
Oh, they're so good and like
so good though.
It's drunk food, but it's like
Really
I was always just coming home from work exhausted, and I'd go home. I'd pick up my roommates at the time. We'd go get burritos and like fries, and we'd come home, smoke a fat bowl, and get stoned, and then eat burritos, and then do like burrito reviews on Snapchat. And we would just sit there and just like be blazed out of our mind, just like eating a burrito and being like, it's so good. And just like they're the stupidest videos ever. And then we would play Super Smash Bros. Completely stoned. It was amazing.
Well, I was thinking about it. I really feel like Well, obviously, like, I've talked about, like, my binge eating disorder and, like, how it started and stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like I feel like it happens to everyone.
So I think
There
it
are
does,
some
but a lot of
influencers
people
I've
don't.
watched that, like, have had binge eating in the past and would even, like, eat, like, a small piece of, like, chocolate.
So
every
I would
night.
say it's like, I'd say probably 90% struggle with binge eating and struggle with just like an eating disorder that's exacerbated by prep. Like usually they
Yeah.
have one beforehand, but I do know some people that go through their entire prep, don't have a single cheat meal,
Yeah.
don't do anything, and they're dialed
Very
in.
few, though.
But the reason they are is because they don't restrict themselves so much.
Yeah.
Like they give themselves cheat meals and stuff like that. And then, well, so it's not even that. It's like when they do their actual prep, like they're so hungry for the end goal of stepping on stage, and they just have such like their vision outweighs their vision outweighs their the vision outweighs like the temptation. So like I know like Brady, for example. Brady and almost honestly all of his athletes, like Team TUA, their guys always come in really, really shredded, really diced. And I know Brady's always talks about how like he was saying something specifically like when he's in prep, he doesn't think about, oh, I'm gonna have this when I'm over, this when I'm over, because then it becomes self-obsessive over food.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, I'm just focused on winning, and I'm just winning every day, day by day. And even Nick said this, and Chad has said this too. Like, if you just wake up and you think about winning the day and counting how many days you win in a row, then you'll win the event. Like, if you wake up every morning and say, I'm going to win just today, that's it. That's all I'm focused on. Just winning today, doing what I need to do today, and you do that over and over and over, well, you've already won, right? Like, you want to be able to go out on stage and have done everything in your power to win and just accept the outcome. Because at that point, there's nothing you could have changed. Like, I remember when I went on stage both times, I was like, well, if I hadn't, and like those thoughts are just racing through my head. I'd be center stage right now if I hadn't had this, or if I hadn't had that, or if I had done more of my cardio, if I didn't skip my cardio or this or that. Like, and that's the thing. Like, if you're going to do a prep, do it when you're in the right mental capacity and start learning in the off season. Like, start learning in the off season. No, I'm going to hit my fucking macros and I'm going to earn my cheat meal. Right. And I'm going to, I'm going to do my cardio. Right. And I'm not going to skip it. Right. The second that you start saying, I'll do it later, or I'll do it tomorrow, or whatever, like, that's when things get fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, I'd probably prefer doing cardio every single day, even if it's a smaller amount compared to only 5 times a week, because then I'm like, oh, that gives me the excuse to like, oh, I don't have to get up and do cardio this morning. Like, that's why I did fasted cardio at the apartment, is because it's like, it would force me to like get it done early. And so like during my first prep, we would just do cardio all the time. So we would do cardio fasted in the morning for like an hour. And then at night we would just do cardio. And if we felt, Coach Caleb always told us, like, if we felt fluffy, just hop back on the treadmill and just do it until we felt like we were good. So I was literally probably doing like 2.5 hours of cardio every day, especially like towards the end. But I was doing like a lot, and I was literally peeled to the bone, but I was super small.
Yeah.
But I think that that's like when you're so dialed in about a goal, I think that's like when that goal outweighs, when that vision outweighs the temptations, I think it's like so easy. Yeah. Like if your dream was to be, a celebrity or this or that, like the temptations of, like those things don't pop up, right? Like if your dream is to be, this huge like multimillionaire, you're trying to open your business, like it's pretty easy to say no to those temptations of going out and skipping work or getting things done. You know what I mean? Which I feel like, honestly, I think that's how we've been recently. Mm-hmm. And kind of like shifting topics here, but I've been noticing like a lot of people that we know, a lot of our friends have been like going out a lot. And
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Like here's my thing. If you're not in prep and you're just enjoying life, I really don't see anything wrong with it. But I feel like just doing those things doesn't really align with who we are.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like we have a lot of people, like we always get invited.
Also, it's because we also already went through our party stages. Like I at least already went through mine when I had turned 21. This was right when like COVID rumors and stuff was happening.
Yeah,
I literally freaking partied like I would go out like literally every single weekend,
You
like
were
Friday,
a party
Saturday,
animal.
Sunday.
You were a party animal.
Sometimes even Thursday.
Lit
Like
lists. Everyone knows lit lists. With Alyssa, she had
Shalissa, wasn't?
Yeah, it was Shalissa. I don't know. Where did that come from?
It's a long story.
Okay. But I remember like even like the other day we were out drinking, and she leans over to me and she goes, "Shalissa's coming out," and I was like, "What does that mean?" And she's like, and she just kind of like mumbled something, and I was like, "What?" And then she just started laughing, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And she had like half of a frozen margarita.
No, I did not.
You're
At Bar
lightweight.
Louis
You're a lightweight.
was when it started coming out.
You're a lightweight though.
I am, because I don't drink anymore.
But
But
that's
before,
the thing. She wasn't
I
a
used,
lightweight.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Remember
when you
so
dropped? Remember when you were
bad.
taking the birthday BJ shot and you dropped it on the cupcakes?
Okay, yeah, that's because I never
We should put
taken
that.
one
We should
before.
put that video up. We should put it in here so everyone can watch. Let's
I've never
let's put
taken
the
it.
video right here. Wait for it.
I've never done it before, so I didn't know how to do it.
You didn't know how to give a blowjob?
No, I didn't know you were supposed to put your whole mouth around it. I just thought
Whole moth.
Shut up. I can't speak English.
No, but anyway, okay. So back to it. So like yes, there's nothing wrong with going out, but
Yeah,
I'm just saying that we've been like totally in like.
I mean,
just
we've gone
reclusive
out a
mode.
couple times.
We've gone out like 4
Maybe
times
like 4,
in the
yeah.
8-9 months that we've lived here.
Mhm.
We've gone out a couple times, and here's the thing too: if I'm gonna go out with friends, I need to make sure that those friends are there to like spend time with us or not get like lit and leave us, because that's what always happens. We always go out with a group of friends, and they just we have to take care of them because they get sloppy drunk, and that's no fun. Like I remember when we went out to Unicorn Disco or no Wonder Bar after summer shredding, and I remember we weren't planning to drink and we weren't drunk, and it was so busy on Halloween night that we were literally shoved up in the corner with Landon.
Oh yeah.
And we were I stood there for an hour and a half. Like we literally couldn't move. Like that's how busy it was. And I was livid. And then our friends ditched us and went and like got drinks. And I was like, okay, well, and I literally looked at Alyssa and I was like, we need to fucking get drunk so we can enjoy this. And that's the thing that I hate. It's like going out with friends usually turns into, it depends on the group of friends. But in our experiences in the past, going out with friends has turned into, okay, cool. So so-and-so is going to flirt with this girl, so-and-so is going to flirt with this girl, so-and-so is going to flirt with this guy, and then we're just left there and we're just kind of like, okay, cool. And like I have to get a few shots of me, like a few drinks of me for me to like dance. I'm like, fuck no, I'm not doing that sober. Like I need a few drinks in me. And that's the thing is when everyone like ditches and leaves you, that's the part that sucks. Yeah. That or having to take care of someone, or you're like, okay, it's time to go. Why can I not find 2 of these people? Like,
yeah,
you have to have the right group to go out with. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's better if you go with a huge group of friends that like have different vibes and different cliques. Like it's not just a bunch of single people. Because whenever we go out with like just single people,
I feel like I'm more of like a laid back person. Like I enjoy going to get food with my friends and then getting drinks with them.
Yeah.
And then let's continue drink. Okay, let's go to this bar.
Also, like going to clubs and bars are expensive. Like nothing pisses me off more when like someone's like, oh yeah, come out to this club or bar or whatever. We'll get you in or whatever. And you're like, okay, cool. And then we show up and they're like, we can't get in contact with them and they're not answering their phone. And we're like waiting at the door. And like, that's what happened to us the one time we went to Clay is we showed up to the pool party and I think we beat everyone there. We were a little bit behind everyone and they had already gone in. So we didn't get in free with them because they knew someone. And so we didn't get in free with them. And we ended up having to pay to get in. It was $100 each. And the guy jacked up the price because he knew that we were together. Just like that one time we went to Clay and the guy wouldn't even valet park us for free with the little ticket because you were driving a car full of guys.
Yeah.
And he like literally looked in the car and he was like, yeah, $50. And I was like, I'm not paying $50 for you to fucking park the car when I can park it myself. And he was like, good luck finding parking. And then I was like, we had VIP tickets because we were supposed to go see Jack Harlow. And we had the free VIP tickets that a friend gave us. And he wouldn't let us in. And he was like, oh, it's free parking till midnight. And I was like, it's 11:55. And he was like, what? No, it's midnight. And I was like, no. And we're like arguing about the time. And he's like, oh, look, see. And then pulls up his phone. It's midnight. And I was like, dude, seriously, 1 minute? Like by 1 minute, you're not going to park the car with the tickets that we have? And I was like, they're not going to let us in.
Yeah.
So that's what pisses me off. But like, I do agree. I would much rather like go get food and drinks with like friends and like do that versus like going out and I don't know. That's just not our scene. Maybe we just need to go with the right group of people.
Maybe.
maybe that's what it is. Because like I said, in the past when we've gone out, like we always end up babysitting, or we end up just like our friends just like ditch us.
Yeah.
And that's the worst. Like if you're gonna,
I don't really care. I can vibe on my own, but I know you care.
I do care. I'm like, if you're gonna invite me out, like hang out with me. Like that's the thing that's I hate standing there awkwardly when like everyone, because it's, and that's the thing too, is it's like I'm extroverted, but like I also have to feel invited to like be in there. Like I don't want to be a third wheel. I don't want to be the afterthought.
The afterthought.
Like that's what pissed me off. I'm like, if I'm gonna be an afterthought, like I don't even want to go out. You know what I mean? Like because I'd much rather sit at home, watch TV on my nice new 70-inch TV. Oh, funny story. I don't know if you guys saw this on my Instagram, but so patience is a virtue that I don't possess. I went to Target last night and I impulsively bought a 70-inch TV, and the guy wheels it out, and I was like, "Fuck, that shit's big."
It didn't fit in his car. Mind you, I was having a horrible day at work. I was so annoyed. When I
said
mad.
It was big, that's where you were supposed to say. That's what she said.
Oh.
Let's try that again. That shit was huge.
That's what she said.
And so he like wheels it out, and I look at him and I'm like, "You think this can fit in a Honda Accord?" And he was like, 2-door or 4-door? And I was like, 4-door. And he was like, "Yeah, maybe." And I'm like looking at it, I'm trying to eyeball it. I'm like trying to do math in my head. I'm like, it should fit. And I was like,
calculated wrong.
Okay. I was like, well, Alyssa's about to get off work. I'll just call her. So I call her.
I was so annoyed.
Oh, she was so pissed.
Bugged. I was having a horrible day at work. My boobs were sore. My boobs were hurting. I just wanted to go home, ice them, and just chill. No. And mind you, I didn't even put gas in my car because I'm the type of person that's like,
she waits until it's like running on fumes, running on the remnants of gas that drops.
It's so inconvenient to put gas.
We live next to a gas station.
I know.
It's literally
that's why,
like,
in my head, I was like, oh, I can get off work and then I'll put gas on my way home.
Yeah,
but that didn't happen. I had to drive all the way to freaking Target.
10 minutes.
The TV then didn't even fit in my car.
Okay, yeah. So she shows up and I'm like, okay, put down your seats. And I like, the TV was that big.
That's what she said.
And the TV was huge. And it literally wouldn't fit.
I'm not taking it anymore.
God damn it. It wouldn't fit. So I'm like there and I'm like, fuck, what do I do? And my sister was like, why don't you order an Uber XL and have them take your TV to the house? And I'm like, because what are they going to, they might steal it. And
That's what I was thinking.
I had a whole car full of groceries. And I'm like, fuck, my ground beef's about to go bad. I need to like take this home. And it still wasn't fitting. And so I took it out of the box and I just put it in raw. And we left the box there in the parking lot.
No, what even drove me more crazy is that he bought this TV, right? That's expensive. He's over here dropping it because I can't lift it. I can't lift it. And it was so heavy and I could not lift it. I did not want to mess up my new boobies. So I was like, you know what? You bought that. You take care of that. She just stood there and you could just tell she was pissed.
I kept trying to give her kisses and she was annoyed.
This was a lesson for him to learn.
Hey, I got it back home and you love it.
I feel like that's a guy thing. I swear. You guys just don't think things through. You just like buy right away or do right away. Buy or do? Yeah. Yeah. Just like how I'm about to do that with the Tesla. Okay, that is okay. Oh, that's okay? That's reasonable because you're thinking about it. No. I mean, but I might just show up one day back at home with a Tesla. That's fine as long as you can get it home. As long as you're not involved, right? Yes. Okay. You just want to ride in it after. Yes. Hey, you know what's nice about that auto drive? No, shut up. God damn it. But yeah, so that was a funny story from last night. It's horrible. I was so annoyed. Speaking of new boobies, how do you like them? I love them. I love them too. At first it was kind of weird because it didn't feel like it was a part of my body. It's kind of weird because like I forget they're there. You forget they're there, and also like when I touch them, she's like, I can't feel that, but it feels weird. Because I still don't have sensation in them yet. Yeah. Her nips aren't very sensitive yet. Nope. Is that TMI? I'm kind of scared because I've heard some stories where girls just don't get any feeling anymore. Oh my God. Wait, that's the worst. Hang on. Can we just talk about the fact that, okay. I Google everything. So I posted the little video on TikTok, which got like 4 million views or something like that. I don't know. It got like 4 million views. Since I've been sick, I haven't like been on TikTok, but it got like 4 million views. And I'd say 90% of the comments are like the girl's just like kind of like it's a joke. It's very clearly a joke. And the girls are like, oh, like I'm jealous of her or whatever. Or like, they're good comments. Like, oh,
like king energy, or she's so spoiled, like you take such good care of her, whatever. And the whole purpose for putting it out there was a joke. It was to make people like laugh or whatever, kind of like be funny.
You can't take anything on TikTok seriously.
Oh my God.
Seriously.
And some people, like this girl, like had this vendetta and was going in there and commenting, and she was like, why don't you just, you're the toxic type of boyfriend that just can't love their girlfriend naturally, and you got to change everything about him. And I was
there
like,
was like so many
and I
girls.
click on, and she goes, why can't you just love natural bodies? I click on her profile picture. This bitch had lip fillers.
Yeah.
I was like, natural what?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all the guys were like, she's just going to leave you for the next guy. And I was like, no, I very highly doubt that's going to happen. The only time she would leave me is if she literally just got so sick of my shit.
But then I would tell you.
Yeah, she would tell me.
Like, you know what? Let's sit down. Let's fix what's going on.
But yeah, no, people were getting heated about it. Like, and then especially when I posted on Instagram, I had more like just like comments like that of just like, and it's funny because all the guys were like, I like natural boobs are so much better, this and that.
I'm like, half of like.
And I'm like, you realize most celebrities
like
have fake tits.
Half of the girls these guys simp over literally have fake
all
boobs.
All these influencers, all these models.
All the girls on Hub have fake boobs.
Most of them. Yeah.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Majority of them. You can tell which ones are real, which ones are fake.
Sometimes you can't though.
You can though.
No, like sometimes when you see people out, like there's some people that I've seen that I've seen like especially around the gym. There's a lot of people with their boobs done at the gym.
Same, yeah.
But like I've seen some people and I'm just like I'm like trying to decide.
Okay, so you can tell if their arms are like obviously really skinny and their boobs are just huge.
Okay, so I haven't seen very many people with like these overly massive boobs that like don't fit their frame at all. But yeah, that's how you can usually tell. But then again, usually, and I correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say most females that like lift pretty heavy and pretty intensely that have big boobs probably have a boob job. Right or wrong. Because like realistically, if you're training hard and you're lifting heavy, like you pretty much lose like a lot of fat from your boobs. Like that's why you got a boob job.
Yeah.
Was because prep literally got rid of most of the fat tissue that you had there. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, like that's usually the case. But obviously you can't like ask or anything like that. It's like weird. I send you to ask. I send you to ask. I'm like, babe, are those real or fake?
No, I don't ask. I'm like,
Okay, have you ever seen anyone at the gym with a BBL?
Yes.
At the gym? Okay, at the gyms back in New Mexico, so many. But
it's very common.
Gyms here, I haven't seen very many
seen
offline.
One.
Really?
At Alphalete, the old facility.
At the old gym? Okay. See,
okay.
Everyone thinks that she got a BBL.
I know because
it's like
people are commenting were like, just exercise. And I was like,
no,
this is
some guy did it as a
surgery.
joke. He was like, just start hitting chest more often or something.
It wasn't
like
a joke. He was being serious. He was like, just go to the gym. And I was like, what?
What?
Like, this is why I'm here, sir. It's because I go to the gym too much. I have too much muscle. Nothing's there. Just dots.
Mosquito bites.
Period.
Itty bitty titty club.
Period.
Yeah. And no, I haven't seen that many BBLs. I can't say that I've really seen any.
I feel like the BBL era is over.
I mean, it's
kind
of dumb. There's
okay. My thing is, I'm for all surgery. So if you want to get a surgery, that is fine. But it's just something I would never get for myself.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Hang on. I'm not gonna expose someone, but like, kind of talking about some tea. I've had someone that was like a potential client that was gonna train with me, and she was complaining that it was too expensive to train. And then turns around and like a couple weeks later goes to a facility that does like e-stim on your butt and your abs. And I was like, there's no way. Like,
so much more expensive.
That's so much more expensive.
I mean, some people just don't have that motivation.
And I've seen a lot of people do that. Be like, oh, this is equivalent to doing 1,000 crunches. Okay, cool. Now you're just 1,000 crunches sore. Like, like I've seen a lot of people promoting stuff like that, especially like online. I've seen that too. Like it's equivalent to doing 900 squats, something you can never do. And it's like,
that's like the same as like the detox teas. Drink this tea and you'll be slim, lose 5 pounds, no more bloat. Like, Herbalife. I know. It's just all misleading. It's all for money. So.
But I was so shocked by that. I've like I've had client stories like that before. Like, no, that's too expensive. And I'm like, you drive a Lexus. You just bought a brand new
drive
Mercedes.
a certain car doesn't mean you have money.
You don't think someone driving a brand new Mercedes doesn't have money?
You never know.
I mean, I guess that's
That's
true.
why I don't like pay attention to luxury things. So I'm like, you don't really know if that person.
I mean, I guess that's true. That's very true. So yeah, no, I kind of take back that statement. I just think that I would say a lot of people, and I'm not excluding us from this, but I'd say a lot of people just, it's not that they don't have money, so they just don't manage money well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I definitely know some people that are like, oh, I can't afford this or this or this, and then they go out every weekend, or they go to the strip club, and I'm like, how much money did you blow there? Oh, like $250. Okay. Well, then why are you complaining that it's so expensive to like, don't complain that it's expensive to get groceries or eat healthy when you literally eat out every single day or go drink all weekend, and you're buying you and all your friends shots.
At buying boobs now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know. That kind of frustrates me.
It's a good investment, I feel like. I love them.
It is
Honestly,
going to be a good investment.
I was so nervous though, because I would look up literally every single thing that would happen to me.
Oh my God.
I would Google because I was so terrified. I'm still kind of terrified of like messing them up.
She'll like, I'll walk in sometimes and she'll just like pull them out. She's like, how do they look? I'm like, they look good. She's like, don't lie to me. And I'm like, no, they look good, baby. She's like, just good, not amazing. And I'm like, no, like amazing, good, fantastic. Like, I don't know.
Picasso, I like
yeah,
it.
Picasso, I like it. Like, you want me to grab them for you? No, don't touch them. I'm like, okay. But, and also like, I'm kind of sketched out to touch them. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to like squeeze. I know that won't happen, but like, I'm also
I mean, it could still happen now because there's still like.
I'll wait a little bit longer before I give it a good squeeze. Like a good, like, you know what I mean? Low key, did a photo shoot earlier.
What you have to expose me for?
Because I really like the pictures.
Yeah, because you took them.
I know I did took them. See, and I'm like,
okay, what are your thoughts on OnlyFans as a boyfriend who supports their girlfriend that does it? This
is a really good topic. What are my thoughts on OnlyFans? So when you brought it up for the first time, you were just kind of like throwing it out there and kind of like questioning. It was kind of like a joke.
It was kind of like a joke, just to like see what he says.
Yeah, she was just like, oh, like, what do you think about OnlyFans or whatever? And to me, in my opinion, I don't care. I'm not insecure, and I'm not fearful of the fact that you're gonna leave me or this and that. And reality is that, like I just that it's not something that I'm like fearful of, because we have such a good relationship and we communicate so openly, and like we know that we're, you know, like the plan is to spend the rest of our lives together and we're going to get married and have a family and this and that. The only thing that I say about the OnlyFans is I told you this, that I didn't want you doing it for money. Yeah. Like, I didn't want that being the reason you wanted to do it. And because I'm like, if it's money, like I would rather work some extra to like, you know, just bring in more money. Like if you wanted to do it for like money or whatever, but if you were doing it because you said that you wanted to do it just for you. Like you wanted to do it because fuck it, you wanted to do it. And I was like, yeah, that's absolutely fine. But I just said, you know, I'm not a huge fan of you doing it for money. Mm-hmm. Right. And then obviously like showing, like not showing everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think I'd really care if people saw like a picture of your tits. Care. But anything else besides that, no. He's like, no. I mean, okay. Here's how I feel.
Butt is fine, but like tits is kind of like.
I feel like
because like a butt is butt.
A butt is a butt, but tits are tits.
Yeah,
it's like you see them and you forget about them. You know what I mean?
You don't forget about it. You see a butt and you're like, okay.
I mean that's kind of true, but it's like I feel like tits are like not as like so tits are a lot more like private and a lot more like
whereas a
exclusive.
Butt is just like
but a butt's fine. You can show your ass all you want.
Yeah.
But like tits are a little bit more like exclusive or whatever. And I don't know. I don't think I'd be mad about it. I'd be mad if you were sending out like coochie shots.
Ew.
There was no good way to put that.
Why'd you use that word?
I don't know. There was no good way to put that. No coochie shots.
Cooter report.
Cooter report. Okay, that was gross. No, sorry. Yeah. So I don't really care about it, to be honest. And I'm going to be taking, honestly, like we already talked to a photographer about coming in and doing a lingerie shoot for you, just to like post on Instagram and stuff like that. So like, I don't know. I don't care. I'm like, if, I don't know, I guess I'm just confident in our relationship that I'm not having, like, I don't worry about it. I think it would be so here's the thing. I think it would be different if I met you and you had an OnlyFans. That would be different.
Why?
Because, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. But I feel like it's like, if you still continue to kind of have the OnlyFans, then it would kind of be just like the same as you. Or like the same as kind of like you've said, like, right? Like, I think it would be weird because, you know, if you're still active on it, like after we start dating and stuff like that, it's kind of like we just don't have a close relationship. But if we're in a relationship and you opened one, like I wouldn't really, I don't know.
What if like we were in a relationship, I had one already, didn't tell you about it.
And then I found out about it?
No. But then I brought it up to you. Like, oh, hey, by the way, like this is what I do. This is why I post on it. I just want to let you know.
I would, honestly, I'd probably like look at it. But at the end of the day, it's not my decision to make your decisions for you, right? Like if you wanted to do OnlyFans for a living, that's fine. You could do that, right? Now, if let's say that we had just met or whatever, or like we start dating and I hadn't known about it or whatever, which that doesn't make sense. There's no way I would date you not knowing what you did for a living, right? But let's just say that we're talking or whatever, and you're like, hey, I'm a full-time online, OnlyFans creator, whatever. If you're just posting like lingerie shots, bikini shots, I really wouldn't care, to be honest. But if you're doing like full nudity or different like stuff like that, I'd probably be like, okay, well, this probably isn't someone that like, if we were getting into the relationship, not really knowing you, that would just be a red flag for me.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, what if I were to hide that from you? But then,
well, I mean, if you're hiding it for me in general at all, like, then yeah, that's a red flag.
Well, we're not even dating. It's like a first date.
Honestly, just lay it out there on the first date.
No.
Why not?
Because then
I laid out my life story to you on the first date, and look where you're at. You're here.
I'm just saying this for girls that like have it.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's how I see it. Having an OnlyFans and like doing content and like posting like provocative pictures on Instagram, what that shows to me is that person is very confident in themselves, and confidence is an attractive thing. Like you could be a really, really attractive person, and you could be like a really attractive person and have zero confidence and always just like be like think about it. You don't want to be around someone that's always just like, I'm ugly, I'm this, I'm that, and has like no self-worth or self-love. You're just like, like I don't want to be with you. You're like, sad Sally, right? No one wants to be with us. And that's like how anything is, right? Like if all I did was complain 24/7, my neck hurts, my back hurts, this hurts, like this, you wouldn't want to be with me. Right? Like if we had just met and all I did was kind of complain. But I think that confidence is like the key kicker there. And I think that, people that post those pictures and stuff like that, it's like a confidence thing. And I think that that's a good thing to like show off. So like I know a lot of guys get mad that like their girls will post pictures wearing like this or this. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, you do it for attention, but like I guess it kind of just comes like I think it depends on where it's coming from. Right? For you, when you post like a bikini picture or like a picture in your underwear or whatever, you do it because you love the way that you look and you just want to show that off. And I'm fine with that. But I think that like if we're in a relationship and you're posting like thirst traps as a thirst trap and you're like trying to get attention out of it or trying to get people to swipe up, that's a different story. Right? So it kind of comes down to like the intent. And I mean, you can narrow that down to everything in life, right? What's the intention behind it? Right? And this is something that we've talked about before, right? Is like, being in the social media game, right? It's a big thing. I think that it's a really big thing about supporting each other, like supporting other creators and supporting that, right? Now you don't have to go crazy with it, but I think that like if I were to like another creator's post or something like that, someone else that's on the Anaka team or someone else that's like whatever, someone that we like know from the gym or whatever, and we've talked about that, and that's not that big of a deal, right? Because the intention is they like my posts, I like their posts. Like I'm not going out of my way to like stalk their page and like all their pictures. It's like, oh, hey, this person follows me, we follow each other, they like my posts, I like their posts. It's like a mutual respect type of thing. Right. And again, the intention is I'm just respecting, I'm being a friend, right? And that's not a bad thing because that's the intention. Now, when that intention turns into, well, I'm going to comment something kind of like to get attention.
Yeah, then I feel like that's when it's like crossing the line.
That's where the red flag comes up, right? And that's the same for like you. Like, I don't get mad that you like other people's, like other guys' posts or whatever, or like talk to other guys at the gym. I really don't give a fuck. Yeah. Right? It's like, is the intention like, are you going up to a random guy at the gym and being like, oh, like, how does my butt look in these leggings? Right? Like that would be, be bad. Red flag, right? I'd be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Yeah. And you would probably feel the same way. Like if I went up to some random girl at the gym and was just like, wow, hey, with all due respect, your ass looks amazing in those leggings.
So gorgeous.
Or you're so pretty
yeah.
or something like that. Like, that's weird. And I would never do something like that. And I would never do something like that. But like, if we're like together, we're like talking to a friend or whatever, like you'd be like, oh, I love your outfit, or I love this or that. Like, again, what's the intention behind it? Is the intention make it conversation, being friendly, being nice? Or is the intention like, oh, I want to see like if I get attention from it, you know what I mean? So I think that the same goes with the OnlyFans, right? So what's the intention kind of behind it? And like, why do you want to do it, and this and that? And we've already talked about that. And so, yeah, like I'm perfectly
and I
fine
feel like
that.
I always get like a lot of girls that are like, I was like this too, but they're like, oh, like my boyfriend like this picture, like that picture. But like, I feel like a guy liking a girl's picture, like in a bikini or whatever, is the same as a girl liking a guy's picture without a shirt on.
Yeah, it's the same.
But like, they try to justify it as like, no, it's not the same, but it like is the same. Like, he is clothes, but like his shirt's off. Whereas like a girl, like she is clothed, but she has a bikini on. Like, you could still see,
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I feel like that's the same.
Well, okay. Now, would you say that this is something that you've changed your perspective on? Because I know that we've kind of had this issue in the past.
Yeah. I feel like in the past I was still like out of my toxic relationship, and from like getting cheated on, that like I just couldn't see it. I just saw it as like black and white.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that's like cheating.
So anytime
of the situation that I went through. And
so anytime I was like, if she like happened to glance over and I'm like looking at someone's page or something like that, or like I like click on a link for like, you go down that rabbit hole, like, oh, someone that models for Alphalete, and you click like, who is this person? Like, and you like click on it and you just get, caught with your like hand in the cookie jar and like as like an analogy or whatever. I think definitely perspectives kind of change because, at first, coming out of that relationship, I know that you were definitely like a lot more like suspicious of that and kind of like, well, what are you doing, this and that?
Yeah.
And like, I don't go through and stalk people's pages or whatever, but like sometimes I'll click or I'll be like, oh, look, do you know who this person is or whatever? And usually I share that with you, but it's not something that I think that is definitely something that has kind of changed. And I think that that's, I think that that's how it should be, right? Like Alyssa has all the passwords to my stuff. I have all the passwords to her stuff. And it's something we gave them to each other at the beginning of our relationship after a fight that we had about like, okay, well, hey, let's put everything out there. And we've always said, if you go digging for something, you're going to find it. Like if you go digging through years and years of text messages, like, yeah, you're going to find something. Like we found my old iPod we found my old iPod in a box of shit. And we were like, oh, like shit, let's turn it on. I turned it on and there was like,
boobies.
Yeah, there was some shit on there from when I was in early in high school, and I remember sitting there being terrified.
He was like showing me.
I was like shaking. I was like, oh my God, because I was like, let's go through this
so
together.
Embarrassed because I think he forgot that was in there.
I had no idea what was on there, but yeah, but yes, but then I was also like, okay, this is something that happened before we even met.
Yeah,
like we can't be mad about it. You can't be mad about it. Like anything that you did before we were in a relationship, like, has no business being a talking point now. Mm-hmm. Any mistakes that I've made in the past are in the past for a reason. Right. And I think that that's really important. And we've even had this fight before, like we've had fights in the past where like I've brought up old shit that we've worked through as like just a jab at you. And we've talked about like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Like let's focus on this issue right here. Like don't bring up, oh, well, also I'm pissed about this time back in 2021 in February when you did this and you like this girl's picture. It's like, okay, we talked about that. We got over, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so
I agree.
I think that that's a big thing is just not, not being controlling like that. And I think that that's the big thing that we've done super well in our relationship is not being controlling. Like we've had episodes where we've been frustrated about certain things because you look at it a certain way, right?
Yeah.
You get caught with your hand in the cookie jar and it's like, ooh, shit, you know what I mean? Like you've had, messages from other influencers, and that's kind of like and I'd be like, who's that type of thing? But that was a while ago, right? And it was kind of just like, and then it really just kind of came down to, and here's the big thing, and this is what Nick told me, and this is, I think definitely that's something that's helped me become a better boyfriend for sure, is if I don't have to worry about these things, if I make Alyssa feel secure in our relationship,
right?
If I make her feel secure of my love, then you don't have to hide anything. You don't have to do this or that or anything like that. Because there was a point in time where like I'd be worried about telling you something for the fear of like, well, what if she sees it this way and gets mad about it, right? Like, oh, what if I tell her that like, someone, like some girl came up and talked to me at the gym about this or this or this, and she immediately takes it as, well, some girl came up and talked to you at the gym. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, I don't want to do that, right? So I just kind of, and so like when I make Alyssa feel secure in the relationship, we literally don't ever fight, right? Like when I make her feel loved, and that's a big thing, is emphasizing each other's love languages. And I feel like that's really, really important, right? So for us, we do weekly date nights. And I remember when I posted that video on TikTok, we got so much heat about it. Like, how do you guys afford 2 date nights a week? Like, and how do you do this or that?
A date is literally you having to like go somewhere and spend money, when it's like, that's not what a date has to be. Like a date can literally be with your significant other and you're like going to a picnic or you're watching a movie. Like you're literally just spending time
together. That's it.
Yeah. And you both put in effort on the date. So like on dates, Joe either cooked dinner or I cooked dinner, and we'll swap, or like he'll do the dessert and then I'll do the dessert the next day. Like that's our date. Like that's
our date is just spending time together. Or like we've had a date, like one of the first dates we had when we first met each other was I built back in my apartment at home. I built my bed frame. And I invited her over, and that was a date night. And we just sat there and we just talked about stories and had laughs, and we built something together, and that was a date for us. Like we'll frequently we'll buy Legos and we'll build Legos together. Like it sounds dumb or
it's
corny
like doing
or nerdy,
what we
but
enjoy
it's
together.
Yeah, we
whatever
just do
like
something
our
fun.
hobbies are.
Yeah, we'll do something fun. We've played video games together, like just for fun. Like we'll play Mario Kart, or we'll play like just like stupid games. Like we'll buy dumb games together. We've played when we were quarantined. We played Monopoly every fucking night. Risk. Like we played board games. We played card games. Like we can do stuff like that. And sometimes like us being on a date is like, okay, and usually I'll play on one and she'll play on one. And us being on like a date is, maybe she's like, hey, so like for a date night tonight, we're going to like read a book together and we're going to go on a walk. Like that costs $0 and that takes 30 minutes tops. But that's quality time spent together. Yeah. And I think no matter what anyone says, most people's love language is just spending quality time together. Yeah. Like it doesn't really matter. Like it's not my top one, but like I love spending time with you. You know what I mean? And so, to kind of go back on that point, I think that's really important. It's just making your significant other feel loved and valued in the relationship. And if you do that, you don't have these issues, right? Like if like that I love you and that, I trust you and this and that. So we don't have the issues, right? So when Alyssa is supposed to be off work at 6 and shows up at home at 6:30, I'm not like, well, where were you for 30 minutes, right? I don't have to do that because it's just because I don't care, because I have that trust. Because I know one of the first times that when we were first dating, I went over to your place, and I remember, and this was
like still newly dating.
Early into the relationship.
We weren't even dating, I don't think.
We weren't even dating. No,
we were, because it was like around Christmas time.
Yeah, I drove. So I was like, hey, I'm leaving now, and I went to my car and I forgot like a pair of underwear for the next day because I was staying at your place. And so I ran back upstairs, I grabbed it, and I ended up talking to my roommate or something like that for like 2 or 3 minutes. And then I came back down, and then I left. Well, I got there, and I think I was driving, and I opened up my Snapchat on the road, and it put me at some random house on one of the roads on the highway. Middle of nowhere. I literally opened my Snapchat, took a picture, responded to someone, and then exited out. And then I show up at Alyssa's house, and she calls me as I'm parking. She's like, "Where are you?" And I was like, I just pulled up. And she was like, and it just kind of like hung up. And I was like, okay, that was weird. And I like walked inside. She's like, what took you so long? And I was like, it took me 25 minutes to get here. And she was like, why were you at so-and-so's house or someone's house? And I was like, I wasn't. And she was like, look at your Snapchat maps. And I was like, she like screenshot it. And I was like, I literally don't know how to explain that. Like I didn't stop anywhere. And she was like, well, it doesn't take you that long to get over here. And I was like, okay, I text you at this time. And I literally had to pull up. I literally had to like make it logistically just like impossible for her. Like I pulled it up. I was like, I text you at this time. I ran upstairs. I got a pair of underwear, talked to my roommate. It takes 20 minutes to get here. But that whole situation took me 5 minutes. I was like, what would I do? And I literally looked at her and I was like, do you really think I stopped at the side of at some house off the side of the road, met up with some girl and then was there for 30 seconds and then left again? And I was like, that literally doesn't make any sense. And then after I kind of explained that, she was like, oh, okay. We've had instances like that in the past, like early in the relationship, like where you would question things like that. And I would literally explain it to her and just be like, yo, like, I swear, like, I really didn't do anything. And like, now that's not even like a thought that kind of comes across your head.
Yeah.
Because again, when you make someone feel loved and trusted in that relationship, like, it's super simple. I don't think it's that complicated.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing, is making someone feel loved and valued in that relationship, and you avoid every single one of these issues. And so again, guys, like, emphasize each other's love languages. That's super important.
That's really important.
So mine is what are your 3 love languages, by the way?
I don't remember.
It's quality time, words of affirmation.
Yeah, that one's first.
Words of affirmations first. Which it was like day 4 of us talking, and we took our love language test together. I remember doing that because I think you were saying if ours were the exact same.
Not the exact same, but I just wanted to see what. No, you were the one that wanted to take it.
Oh.
You're like, let's take this. And I was like, okay.
She was like, oh,
I was like,
okay.
I've never even done this before, but okay.
And I did it.
Mine's like words of affirmation, quality time. What even are they? I think physical. Words of affirmation,
quality time, and then like physical touch.
The physical touch is last, I know that.
Yeah, so it's those 3. And then mine is, oh no, yours is acts of service too.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, so it's acts of service. And mine is receiving gifts is number 1, and then I think it's acts of service, and then it's physical touch after that. And so like that's really, really important. So like I feel, Alyssa feels my love when I like make sure I compliment her hair, or I make sure I compliment what she's wearing, or just like give compliments to her, or like give her a kiss, or tell her she's beautiful,
but like
or
if I'm
like
like doing something,
or like if she does something, like,
yeah,
hey, I'm proud of you for doing this, this and that. Like, so I make sure that, and because we had a fight about that one time, or not really a fight, but we talked about that one time of like, hey, we need to emphasize each other's love languages more. Like, we need to do this. And so since that time, I've been like, hey, baby, you look beautiful today. Like, I love your hair. I love this. Or I'll make her coffee in the morning. Right? I used to do that a lot for you when you haven't drank coffee in a while, but I would always make your coffee like around Christmas time. I'd always wake up and make your coffee and this and that. And I think that that's really, really important. And so like for me, mine is, receiving gifts or acts of service.
Random Lego sets.
Yeah. So she'll get me like random candy bars or Lego sets, or she'll bring me food to work. I think that's my biggest one, is like, she'll come and bring me food to work. And to me, that's like, oh, that takes so much stress off my plate, and that helps me out so much. And that's what we have to do. And like, I've heard of other people were talking about how their boyfriends don't like clean up and stuff around the house. And
that used to be you.
Well, so at my old apartment,
yeah.
But here, like, I do I love doing the cleaning. And that's something, like, we turn it into like a date. We clean together.
Doing it together.
And that makes it so easy. But yeah, guys, should just, compliment each other's love languages and make them feel loved. I think that that's like the most important, is just emphasizing each other's love languages, and, just making your significant other feel secure in the relationship.
Yeah. So. I feel also like putting in effort has to be on both sides.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And also communicating, because like if something is bothering you and you feel like your partner, well, obviously your partner's not going to know, right? Because it's bothering you. So your partner's not going to know what they're doing is affecting you or is upsetting you unless you bring it to them and communicate that with them. And
another thing that I definitely think that we should talk about, that I know that we've done before, or that I've brought up to you about before, but like, guys, those little comments and remarks that you make about certain situations,
like nitpicks.
Like the little nitpicks, like they add up and they're frustrating. Like there'd be like sometimes that like I'd explain something to Alyssa, or like, defend myself about something, and she'd be like, okay, whatever, or something like that. And I'd be like, no, like, what do you mean? Like, talk to me here, or something like that. Or be like, or like sometimes she'll be like what's an example that's happened in the past? Like, oh, I'm sure you were, or like, how do you know that? Like this and that, like little things that in her mind is kind of just like a joke, or like half a joke, but half like, oh, I'm genuinely curious. Like, like, okay. So like, for example, we'll bring up this one that happened today. So when I was, when we were doing the spicy photo shoot, I was like, no, pose like this and this and this.
Pose, and I was like, how do you know?
And she goes, how do you know? How do you know how to do these poses? Huh? Are you watching someone's Onlyfans or something like that? And I'm like,
I didn't say that.
You asked, you were like, are you subscribed to someone's Onlyfans? And I was like, no.
In the shower, I think I did. I
was like, who the fuck would I subscribe to? But anyway, I was like, no, like, I just think that this looks hot. Like, as a guy, this is a fucking hot ass pose. Like, like a sexy pose. But like those little remarks, like.
But sometimes it just comes so naturally that I don't even think about it.
Your spicy Latina side comes out. But like, I'm just saying, like those little things, they definitely.
But in an argument, I feel like that's definitely. Because we weren't arguing, we were talking, arguing. Yeah.
So it wasn't that big of a deal. But those things do add up because they're not like annoying, but they add up in the sense of like, it's frustrating, right? Because there's some sense of doubt behind that, right? So when you say a little comment like that, there's a sense of doubt behind that. And that makes that other person kind of feel like less valued in that sense, right? So like if we flip this over and you were explaining something about, I don't know, something about like this or whatever, or like, oh, like, I don't know, let's take it a common scenario for like another guy, like explaining something about a football game and maybe you know nothing about football and then all of a sudden you know something about football and I go, well, where'd you learn that, right? That now devalues you like you're stupid, right? Like as if you possibly couldn't have learned that on your own. But at the same time too, it's like, it's just like a small jab. And those small jabs, like they go a long way.
I feel like they add up.
They do.
Because then when you end up getting in like an argument or a fight with your significant other, that's like the first thing you bring up.
It's like those little jabs, right? Yeah. Like, because I know you've done that sometimes before. Like, who are you looking at? Like, oh, so there was this someone started a live video the other day on Instagram. And so she asked me something and I like turned and looked. I wasn't even
mad about it too. I was like, first of all, I was so tired and sleepy.
I was panicking though. I
was like, who shared a video?
So it was a girl that I follow and it was like so-and-so started a live video. And I had my head turned, I was looking at her and she goes, who just sent you?
No,
she goes,
I did not say it with attitude. I was like, oh, who sent you a video?
She goes, why did that person send you a video? And I was like, what? And I was like,
I did not say that in that tone.
I'm not.
You're making it seem like I was trying to fight. Relax. I was like this. I was like, oh, who sent you a video?
And then I was like, I don't know. Yeah, when she was and like, he was like, she was like, click on it. But I know you said click on it as if like, I want to see what this person sent. And I was like, I have no idea what this person would send. Like, it was someone that I followed, someone that like I know, but I was like, I have no idea why they would send me a video at like 1 a.m. or something like that. I was like, that's weird. And so I like go to my like DMs and there's nothing there. And I like go and I'm like, and we like scroll down. And she goes, like what? And we were like confused, and then I was like, oh, they started a live video.
Like, oh, that makes sense.
She's like, oh, but again, like a lot of people say those little things, and they, don't go somewhere. So I know that I've said some things to you before, like, oh, so, like, are you gonna put your hair up? Or are you gonna put your hair down, or something like that? And like those little jabs, like, I know that that's like something that parents say to like their kids. That's really kind of like mentally kind of fucks them. Like,
that's why I hate when you tell me put your hair up. I'm like, no, I'm a grown woman. I'm going to do my hair how I want to do my hair. I'm going to look how I want to look.
I do have a thing for ponytails.
You do, and I know that. Like, you don't need to keep reminding me.
But sometimes I want to remind you because sometimes I want you to wear a ponytail.
I wore a ponytail today.
And it looked good.
Okay.
Shit.
I don't know. For me, I used to love ponytails when my hair was like naturally its color. I just hate doing it now because it just... I know, I feel like I'm not used to, like, the blonde highlights. It just drives me crazy. I feel like it looks disgusting.
And don't forget, I'm a piece of shit, and I'm toxic for liking the fact that her hair's not natural anymore. Because that's the thing. But anyway, I was saying that, like, when parents tell their kids, like, oh, you're eating again, right? Like,
yeah, it's kind of like that. If you do that with your significant other, it's basically the same as, like,
Yeah, like, if I was like, oh, you're eating again, right? That it's a genuine question. But to them, to you, it would imply, like, you don't like fat.
The way I look.
You don't like the way I look. Like, can I not eat? Like, so it's like you just got to kind of avoid those little jabs because they can add up, right? And they can definitely they can definitely add tension to a relationship for sure. Mm-hmm. Which I think that's important to address.
Yeah,
but
I agree on that.
But yeah, so we're gonna wrap it up here, guys. We really appreciate you guys. All the support that we've had. Almost 300 followers.
I know. Thank you guys so much.
When this is being made, almost 300 followers on Instagram. But make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram.
And I always do giveaways for every podcast drop. Like, you're probably going to see a gift card giveaway for almost every single podcast drop. Yes. You're going to see some other giveaways like all the time. Like, so make sure you guys are following us. And that's something that we do to give back to you guys. So whenever you guys can, save our reels, share our reels with friends, you know, add comments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All that stuff helps us grow and helps us get promoted to a bigger audience.
Yes. Also give us reviews on Spotify as well. That also helps us.
Reviews
too.
on Spotify, leave comments on our YouTube, thumbs up, thumbs down if you fucking don't like it, but at least tell us what's wrong. But
Yes.
but all those like things go a long way. And you know, I know some people can't always like get something from every Inaka drop and can't always use code Swellmates or whatever, but like, you know, it doesn't cost anything to like save the video or share it with your friends or this and that, like the reels, like, and that helps us out the most, honestly, because we wanted to make this content for you guys and talk about these relationship type things and talk about
everything.
Yeah,
everything
about
that you guys want to hear us talk about, literally.
And if you have suggestions too of something you want to hear on the podcast or
leave a
a
comment.
guest feature, because we're gonna start having guests on here soon.
We are actually.
If you want a guest feature, just send us a DM, something like that. We'll go from there. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye.